So Bear 312 wants a comparison between the UKPK and the Dragonfly. Can do. A lot of similarities between these two knives. They're both relatively small, sub 3 inches. In the Dragonfly's case, much smaller than 3 inches. They're both reasonably priced. You can get these in a variety of different steels for, in the sub $100 range in the case of the Dragonfly, and in the hundreds in the case of both of these knives, even in some very good steels like Spy 27, like K390, like Magna Cut for the UKPK, things like that. They're both relatively thin in terms of stock. They both have excellent ergonomics, full four-finger grip on the UKPK and full four-finger grip on the Dragonfly here. So biggest differences, the first and most obvious one is the locking mechanism. So your Dragonfly here is a backlock. It's a Seki City backlock. Now this one does need a little bit of breaking in, and with a blade this small, it's not going to exactly be drop shutty, but you do have a nice smooth backlock there. Whereas the UKPK here is a slip joint. But it's that sort of slip joint talked about in the review where it has your sort of hard stop on the open and close. It's almost like halfway between a locking knife and a traditional slip joint, even though legally this will almost certainly be considered a slip joint rather than a locking knife because it doesn't fully lock. The Dragonfly, made in Seki City. So what does Seki City do really well? Well, they do a great job on this FRN, nicely contoured, great ergonomic. They also do a really good job with these thin grinds that come down to nice thin edges here. And the grind on the Dragonfly is fantastic. This one, the UKPK, made in Golden, Colorado. Now, Golden, Colorado is no slouch. There's nothing wrong with this one. In fact, it fits together just great. It's just a bit of a different style, a little bit cleaner. The Seki City just looks a little more almost handmade, for lack of a better term. That's just the way Seki City does their knives. You can get, again, these in all sorts of different steels. So steel really, Magna Cut right now. Actually, I think Magna Cut you might be able to get in both. And if you don't get it in both now, you'll be able to get it in both soon. I think the only steel that's probably in one but not the other is K390 for the Dragonfly, which is a great steel. Biggest difference really comes down to, do you want a small knife that is very good, or do you want a very small knife that feels bigger than it is? If you want a small knife, it's very good. The UKPK is about as capable as you're going to find for a knife of this size, especially if you don't need that locking mechanism. It does feel very much like a big knife, and it's not that small. The Dragonfly is a downright teeny knife. The ergonomics are fantastic, but it really is strong in the sense that it punches above its weight. It is still a very small knife, though, so you've got a smaller blade, smaller grip in the hand, smaller in the pocket. So that's sort of my quick comparison between the Dragonfly and the UKPK. Thanks for the comment.